And we are live.
Hello and welcome to our final day of Schoolscape IT 2020. It's been a journey, but we're really excited to be back with all of you. And we had such incredible feedback from you guys at the end of our Schoolscapes that we ran late in August, that we decided to come back with 2 days of specific things that you had requested. So yesterday we looked at financing of IT. Many of the IT managers and even teachers like yourselves came back and said, okay, amazing tech that you're showing us, but how do we afford it? So we had run yesterday with the financial staff of schools. If you want to look at that, go check on the agenda. It is open to you guys. So on Hoover platform, otherwise on Schoolscape.
On YouTube. For those of you who are viewing on YouTube at the moment, we know a lot coming straight in on YouTube. So you can click on the School Advisor channel as a whole, and you'll be able to pick up on yesterday's session. I think just two stand-up things. Krainsig Primary, they spoke a lot into fundraising, doing some incredible stuff. And one of their biggest spinners of the year is their go-kart day, which makes them a lot of cash, which they then invest into IT. Then we also had Stellenbosch Academy, Werner Klutter spoke, and interestingly enough, he said getting companies to sponsor IT equipment. Don't go to the IT companies, go to bigger organizations in your community and ask them to get their IT companies to sponsor, and surprisingly that seems to work incredibly well. So those were just some points from yesterday.
Awesome. It's Calling Academy. Stellenbosch Academy.
Calling Academy.
Something completely different. But Calling Academy. And so today, like Pete said, we jam-packed. We have an incredible story coming up now. 10 minutes, high inspiration. And then we have Robert Faltermeier, who we were all very excited to have in our previous event, except he ended up unfortunately in hospital. So he's with us and he's well today, and so we look forward to that. But Pete, why don't you lead us into our first session?
And then just before we get there, one last thing. For those of you who are viewing on the Hoover Conference platform, we have another passport competition. So if you jump onto 5 exhibitor profiles, we've got some new companies that have joined in. Like them, write a comment and click on select their deals and offers. You then go into the prize, and we have a case of wine. So you can choose, do you want red or white? And for those of you who don't drink, we will give you a Take-A-Lot voucher. So lots of value there. And also some of our kind of companies out there have got some really cool stuff up for grabs. So I know Digital Generation has 10 LED lamps, but the cool thing is at the bottom of the lamp is a charging station for your phone. So you just put it on and it charges. So absolutely amazing. But that's enough from us. We now need to move on to our first speaker. So I am going to invite Lou on stage. Lou, I can see you in the background if you want to pop your video on. So Lou is actually an Australian that was traveling the Eastern Cape and then actually got stuck in the Eastern Cape and never left. And Lou was watching our first sessions. She reached out to us, started talking about African angels and what they've achieved. And I was absolutely blown away by their story about a school that is having an impact for their kids that are going on to places like the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy, all over the place. They also put up lights in their community. And I just thought, at the moment, I think schools are going through a crazy year. It's been a hard year. And I think every now and again, we need a bit of inspiration to remind us why we do the things we do. And Lou is having a big impact. And I'm hoping her story will be able to encourage us. So, Lou, the stage is yours for the next 10 minutes. Over to you.
Thank you. If you're tuning in from the Oprah School, from DSG in Grahamstown, from Selborne College, Lillyfontein School, Queen's College, Queen's Girls High, Maryfield College, you have an African Angel graduate in your cohort of kids. African Angels is a small school based outside of Cinsa. I'm hoping that my video is working because I have a still
working clearly, and we can hear you perfectly.
Okay, great. Thank you. So we are a small school in a little village called Trinsa, just outside East London. And Peter's touched on a bit of the work that we do, but we started African Angels because we believe that every child should be able to access quality education, and to give parents from low income backgrounds a choice of where they send their kids to school. I am Australian. I came to South Africa in 2003, very green as a traveller, having no real idea about South Africa's real history and the impact that it's had and the long-lasting legacy that it's left on our people. And I'm a lot wiser now. We partner with our parents and we partner with our community. And I know every teacher in the country always says, I wish our parents were more involved. We have some outstanding parents. We have some parents who are limited in their own capacity, but every parent has something to offer. And every parent teaches me something every single day. We have formed very strong collaborations with our parents. Our meetings are held in the community hall in the middle of the township. The parents decided on our policies, including things like hair policy and uniform policy. It is their school. We are a school for the community. So we are an independent school, but we get no subsidy from the government. Our parents have trotted off to the provincial offices and walked the halls and explain to the department officials that it's their school. And the fact that our parents, who are all come from low income backgrounds, were prepared to do that is, for me, pretty amazing. I'm really privileged to work with an incredible team of teachers who lead our children, who love our children, like you all do. Like, I don't think you get into teaching unless you love kids, and who walk the road with our children, because as we all know, education isn't enough. We have a number of projects in Trinsa, all designed to give the community what they need. So the streetlight project was something that the leadership in the township, who are our co-conspirators in driving change within the community, identified as a need. I happen to know the regional manager of one of the biggest streetlight manufacturers in the country. I introduced him to the leadership in the township. Honey, who's one of my activists in the township, well, not mine, he's my friend, I suppose. He counted all the street lights, all the Eskom poles that the street lights could go on, and Bika donated and installed the street lights and lit up the community for the first time ever, actually. So it's really a privilege to be part of a community like Trinsa. We have an amazing, dedicated teaching team, and I posted on my profile our newsletter about how we made sure our kids weren't left behind over the latest 5-month lockdown. We have 23 graduates of African Angels in 16 different high schools, which range from the Oprah Academy in Joburg to the local government high school. And fortunately, we had also, a few years ago, again, with collaboration with the community, had a computer hub in containers put into the middle of the township. It's open 4 hours a day. It's equipped with laptops, and anyone within range can get uncapped and unlimited Wi-Fi, because really, where would we be without it? So what happened in lockdown was that our high school kids could go and lock themselves into the hub, and for those schools that were functioning online, could continue working online. And for those kids who were in the government high school who didn't have any work, I'd pick them up and take them to a central space and bring laptops and show them how to access online learning. So for me, we are really able to give our kids scaffolding around their day-to-day, because often the day-to-day is hard. My admin head, Sharon, who is also our founding teacher, she's only asked for 2 things. One was a girls' hostel, and one was her own ensuite bathroom in the hostel, because sharing with 30 girls was pretty rough. Sharon and the teachers from 1st of June for 10 weeks lived in pretty much with the kids. Our grade 6s and 7s were all brought in, and for the first time we brought our boys in. And our boys, our community is reflective, I think, of a lot of the stuff that happens in South Africa. And at the beginning of last year, one of our moms was murdered in a gender-based violence incident. And I sat and I thought, what are we doing with our boys? And I reached out to an organization in Joburg called the Character Company. And because I have very close connections with our parents and wider than our parents in Cinsa, there's a number of good men who stepped up to be mentors, to speak into the lives of boys. My grade 7 class last year, none of them had present fathers. Not one boy had any present fathers in their lives. So we also run a boys mentoring program that is based around 5 key values and have mentors, which are men. Some are teachers, some are parents, but all are positive male role models who speak into the boys' lives. It's not perfect, it's not without its bumps, but I do know that our boys will grow up to be better men, which I think South Africa needs now. One of the things that I really enjoy is working with our kids around ethics. And I'm not sure about your kids at your school, but a lot of our kids think that it has to be right. What's right, ma'am? You know, what is right? They always want to be right. And so over lockdown, I'd go in on the weekends to the kids who are staying in, and we'd run through ethics podcasts, which they're Australian, so there's some contextual stuff that's needed, but they're free and they're guided ethics podcasts to create discussion around ethical concepts. They're designed for primary school kids, and they've got subjects like Harriet has the messiest bedroom in the world. Is it really her fault that her bedroom is so messy? And so it created a lot of debate, and I'm inspired by that because I think in South Africa, understanding what is and isn't ethical behaviour and how the lines blur and how you make your way through that is really important. So that's African Angels. We are very determined to be around for quite a long time to leave a legacy of kids who can create their own opportunities in the future, who become South Africans that can lead and drive change in the country. We don't win all our battles. I don't think anyone can ever say that, but there's one thing we never do. We never ever close the door on our kids, as bad as it might be. And the example I'll give is one of our girls left 3 years ago. She left school in grade 6. She decided life was much more fun outside of school. She got into an unhealthy relationship. Now she's been with us since she was in pre-primary, and recently she started contacting us because we all know Facebook Messenger is free, so you're easily contacted. And she's now started work experience on a local horse rehab farm in the area. And yesterday she had to wrestle a pig back into the trailer. So she's getting a work ethic, she's getting experience. And I know from this, she's in her 3rd week now, and she went on her first horse ride today along our beautiful beach. And I know that it'll be worth it in the end, that she will be able to put her up as an employee and she can earn a regular wage. So I suppose that's my story. That's African Angels.
Lou, that is just, it's amazing what you've done. So firstly, well done. I think it's incredible. Just as a school, you've looked so much broader, and I think there's just lessons outside of that. So I have one simple question for you. How do you keep on giving? You said you never shut a door. So I would like to ask the question. We've got a lot of teachers out there that are going to be listening. How would you encourage them when there are those learners that you just want to shut the door on? Do you have an encouragement or some advice or a thought for us?
Every person I've met who's risen from difficult circumstances, the one question I'll ask them is, who was your person? And very often that person is a teacher who never leaves them, who never gives up on them, or it's a grandfather, not necessarily a parent, but they always have a person. And there's always a reason that kids behave in a bad way. And when I get the 6 o'clock WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger from Lakona, who is my girl at the horse farm, and she says, I'm very tired, do I have to go to work today? And I go, yes, the horses won't feed themselves. I would still like to be lying in bed, but I know by encouraging her that she'll keep going. So yeah, teachers, you are often the person.
I love that. Be the person. You are everyone needs that person. Lou,
Yeah.
thank you. I could ask you about 100 more questions. But sadly, I've run out of time.
You've got a whole, yeah, you do. Thank you so much, though. And thanks to all the teachers out there. You are very important in our kids' lives.
Cool. Lou, thank you. And keep doing what you're doing. It's incredible.
Thanks, Peter. Okay.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, next up on stage after that is Robert Faltermeier. So, as many of you will remember, Rob was originally down to speak to us, and then the day before managed to get the most painful thing ever, kidney stones, which put him out of action. But he's back. He's healthy. And he's going to be sharing with us. So background on Robert is he's essentially the head of innovation at Jeppe. So not only does he look at IT, but he's actually looking at the school as a whole and how do you implement EdTech and what do you do. So he's well known, I think, in the EdTech circles just for his inspiration and passion. So I'm going to hand over to him, and I won't lie, we asked him for some options to put out as a poll, and the one that won I actually voted for as well, because like when I was researching it, I saw like 1 billion people use it, and I'm quite excited. So Rob, thank you. We really appreciate you coming on, and we are glad you're better. The stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Peter. And that, I must say, what Lou had to share was truly inspirational. And I must say, kudos to her for all the work and good work that she is doing to help. I think the world definitely needs more of that. Yes, I'm very happy to be here. I managed to actually make it, which is good. So thank you for that. So as mentioned, there was a poll made on a couple of options, and Kahoot was by far the winner here. We are going to play a game of Kahoot virtually, believe it or not, and it'll be a lot of fun, I'm hoping. Provisor is that there are no technical gremlins. For those of you who are listening at the moment, just so that we are aware, if you do have a smartphone with you, you're probably going to need this as well, but we'll get to that in a moment, so don't stress. You won't have to close the screen down of what you're watching, unless it is on a phone, but you will be a little bit difficult then. So don't worry if you don't have two screens, that's perfectly fine. You can just watch and sit back and sort of have a look. But if you do have a laptop or a screen you're watching on and you have a smartphone, we'll be using that during the course of this. I'm a firm believer in learning by doing, and so we're going to be having a go itself. But I think before we get into the details, I think it's always important to always have a discussion as to why we want to do something. There are some amazing bits of EdTech out there of how you can use it. But when we use EdTech, we always need to think about what is it that we want to achieve. What goal do we want to put in our lessons that is going to enhance or innovate our lessons? Just substituting something is great, but then that novelty will wear off quite quickly. But if you can bring in change and you can add value to something that you're putting in your class, then you are truly, truly delving into 21st century education. I always put this in, and I'm not a fan of buzzwords and terms, but I am quite big on the 4 C's. Critical thinking, creative thinking, communication, as well as collaboration. And I think if you can add at least one of those C's in any of your lessons, you are teaching beyond the curriculum. You are going that extra mile. We as teachers, let's be honest, we're not here for the money. We do it because we have a passion and we want to make a difference. And if we can enhance our teaching and we enjoy it, that will definitely translate into something that our students can enjoy. And hopefully we'll have some fun here today. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen with you very quickly. And hopefully this is going to come through onto you. So while we're all busy on this and it's coming through, I've got a quick presentation. I'm going to take you through Kahoot, and then we're going to have a go where we can actually have some fun. So what is Kahoot? Kahoot is an online quiz platform. There's a paid version and there's a free version. I'm quite big in that if we can use a free version in our daily teaching, it can actually go very far, and the free version of Kahoot is incredibly powerful. So as mentioned, it's an online quiz platform, and effectively we're going to show how it can be used in a lesson, and then once we've had a go playing a game of Kahoot virtually, then I'll go through some of the sort of aspects of it and how you can use it and how you can adapt it to your lesson. The world is your oyster, whether you teach music or maths or science or history or English, or even if you run a club, for instance, or even if you're a coach doing rugby, you can adapt the platform to sort of suit your needs of how things actually work. Just want to quickly go, yeah. So if you can read this, you are already in the right mind space. For those of you who can't, it says intelligence is the ability to adapt to change, Stephen Hawking. So when it comes to trying to innovate our lessons, and we want to give our students skills that they can use once they leave school, the ability to adapt and the ability to spruce up our lessons, as long as it is adding value. For example, putting in the ability to adapt to challenges or to think creatively or critically or use communication in a different way that it adds value, then you are definitely doing the right thing. So now we get to the point where we're going to try and play this game virtually. I have done this with my class. I've tested it twice, and hopefully it'll work here. A bit of a disclaimer there in that it should work. I'm hoping it will. So we're going to play an icebreaker game. This is always great when you're going to introduce this platform in your class. When you're going to always try something new in your class for the first time, don't go straight into the content. Don't go straight into your actual topic you want to cover. You have to learn how to use the platforms in your class. Your students have to learn how to use them. So always start with something fun. And I always recommend trying an icebreaker. That way, everybody gets a bit relaxed. Your students know you're trying out for the first time. It takes the pressure off you, and you can have a go. So just like these guys on the screen here, breaking ice, we're going to have some fun and break into new territory and try some really cool things. So if you have your phone with you, what I would like you to do is to please type in kahoot.it. That's KAHOOT.it. Please do not go to kahoot.com. We'll be going to kahoot.com later on. The kahoot.it is where you log in to actually play the game. Now, for some of you, your smartphone might ask you to download the app. You don't need to do it. All you need to do is open up a browser on your phone. It doesn't matter what browser it is, or if it's Safari or Chrome or whatever, and type in kahoot.com. The first question it's going to ask you is a game pin. And I would like you all to put in the game pin that you see on your screen, which is 2677961. Once you have done that, it's going to ask you to put in a nickname. Now, no naughty nicknames here, because we all have kids who are going to try silly things in class. And later on, I'll show you some really cool ways of how you can actually moderate the types of names that your students use. So if you could please do that, that'll be great. I'm going to leave this number up for a few more seconds. There is a bit of delay from me actually presenting and then you actually hearing what I'm saying. So I'll leave that on for a little bit. And then I'm going to be changing my screen into the actual teachers page. And then I'll explain a couple of things, how this actually works. But I'm all excited for this. I'm sure you'll be having some fun. And we can learn how to go into some general knowledge questions. Okay, so now what, for some context, you are now going to be seeing the teachers page. So yeah, you can see that we have 23 players who have already joined, which is great. We can see all the different names of what there is. And what happens in this loading page for Kahoot, if you know you have 23 people in your class and you see that 23 players are logged in, you know that your students aren't messing around and trying to message whoever. If you've got 30 people in the class and only 23 are logged in, you obviously know either there's a technical error or they're not paying attention. So you have this ability to actually moderate what's actually going on. And also what you can do, for example, if I go down here and I look for somebody named Ross Olive, who happens to be one of my colleagues, if I wanted to, I could click on him and there's a line through it. And if I click on it, I can actually kick him out the class. So that if there's somebody who's got a name that is just not appropriate, you then have a way of actually moving on. Now, to explain next what's going to happen. Kahoot is not only a lot of fun, and it allows you to explore your content of what you are going to share and what you are going to do. It's going to work with different parts of your brain all at once. And in preparation for today's session, I actually did it with two of my classes today, my grade 8 history class and my grade 10 history class. It can get quite competitive. Obviously, we're in a virtual environment, so the excitement of the room would be a little bit lost in this space. But it has a bit of competitiveness, has a bit of excitement. I have turned off the sound. There's normally some quite cheesy music, but pretty cool music, which the kids absolutely love. But just to help with bandwidth, I've actually turned off the music on this. I could turn it back on if I wanted to. If I move on the top right, you can see that there's some sort of options here, as it were. Now, when we play this game, what's going to be happening is you are going to be presented with a question. You have 5 seconds to read this question. Then the screen will change, and then you are going to have 4 options that you will see on my screen. At the same time as something appears on my screen, on your phone, you will your screen will change on your phone as well, and you will have 4 blocks. Now, these blocks are red, green, yellow, and blue, and they have different shapes inside of it. The reason for the shapes is that if you have someone in your class who's colorblind, they can make the decision based on the shapes rather than the colors. But the question will be on my screen, and on my screen over one of the colors, you will have multiple choice options. Now, let's say, for example, the question is, what is the capital of South Africa? And the red triangle is Pretoria. On your screen, you won't see the word Pretoria. You will see a red triangle. So obviously then you need to click red triangle. But it's not just about how many questions you get right. You also get awarded points based on how quickly you answer it. So if you were to answer it correctly immediately, you would receive 1,000 points. And then depending on how it goes down every few seconds, it goes down all the way to 1 point, which is the lowest you can actually win. So it's not just about getting it correct. It's about getting it correct as quickly as possible. So I'm going to click start. There's about an 8 seconds delay between me putting it and your coming on, but don't stress too much. There's a time limit on each question, just so that we can get through this as quickly as we can. You might find that your screen on your phone will actually change first before it changes on my screen because of the delay. Don't stress about that. Just wait until it comes up on my screen and then select, and then we'll have a go and we can have some fun. With that, I hope you're all ready and we can get going. Remember to look at my screen, read the question, and then once you choose the answer, then go to your phone and then select the correct answer. 3, 2, 1, go. So we have our first question. Now, as we answer it, we can see that the numbers are answering up here at the top, that we've got 17 answers already, and the time is now up. Now we have a thing that we had 15 people get it right. We can see who chose what answer, and so on. Now, obviously, this is the first question, and obviously we have a bit of a delay here. So just be on the ball to actually choose. There's a bit of competitiveness. Sometimes people get a little bit frustrated, and they think they've got the right answer, and they click one, and they're like, oh no, I've chosen the wrong question. It can be a lot of fun. So next, we're going to have a quick look to see who got the most points here. So Pete, 880 out of 1,000. Well done. And we got the man at 855, and then Dottie coming up in third. But only 10 points difference for MC. So we're getting there. Next question. What river is the longest in South America? Fantastic. So we had 18 people answer in time, and 14 out of the 18 got it right. That is fantastic.
Hey, Rob, sorry, just to comment, and for those that are watching on Hoover, I know the delay, so those on the conference platform might be finding the delay quite long. By the time it shows for them, they've got like a second to answer. So, but I think they're getting the idea anyway.
Okay, no, perfect. We've only got about 3 questions left, so it's mainly about getting out your feeling about it. I'm sorry about the delay, guys, but we can actually, later on, I'll show you how you can actually change the timing. Okay, next one. So we have Pete, who's still on the top with 1,570 points. Question 3. Who wrote Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star? And the answer is Mozart. Just because I'm a history teacher and I can't help myself, a fun fact about that, Mozart was notorious for not actually waking up early, and his wife would used to sit down and play the first few chords of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star and then stop and walk away, which would drive Mozart absolutely mad, and he would be forced to get out of bed to actually finish the piece. So that's one way of getting your husband up in the morning if he's too lazy. Okay, our next question, next one, we see Mr. T is doing really well. He's jumped up to almost 2,000 points. Well done. Our next question. Which country has the tallest building? Is it China, the USA, the UK, or the UAE? The UAE, well done, and that is the Burj Khalifa. Well done, everyone. This is it's quite cool in a lot of ways, in that you can actually use it just for a general knowledge icebreaker. But as I mentioned later on, I'll show you how you can actually implement it into your lessons itself with your curriculum. Mr. T is still on top. Pete is crawling his way back and getting there. Second last question. In which Italian city was the pizza invented? Was it Florence, Naples, Venice, or Rome? Naples, and the majority of you got that right. That is correct. Well done. Interesting fact about the pizza is that it was actually designed as a wedding gift for the King of Italy, as a type of celebration for his marriage to his wife. So bit of fun fact there too. As I said, I'm a history teacher. I'm unashamedly, I can't help myself with all these facts. And we have Mr. T still at the top and Pete crawling back, almost there, just under 200 points difference. Now it's all for nothing for our last question. What sport is this? Is it American football? Is it stickball? Is it lacrosse? Or is it golf? It is lacrosse, and I'm super impressed that most of you actually knew what the game is. That is brilliant. We've now reached the end of our short little Kahoot game to actually have a go and break some ice. And now we're going to see who is the winner. We have Sean and number 3. We have Dan placed second, and our winner is Mr. T. Well done. Congratulations. With that, we've done our icebreaker. I hope you've enjoyed it. I always, as mentioned earlier, I always feel it's best to learn by doing, and you have an idea of how it works. Definitely, I can't emphasize how much more fun it is to play it in your class, where you have the excitement of the children and the competitiveness, and they're like, oh no, I pushed the wrong one. You know, it really is a lot of fun, and it adds a dynamic to your lesson. As I suggest, always start with an icebreaker. It always brings a little bit more calm. It also lets you work out some teething problems. It doesn't put you under pressure that you're not covering the content or whatever the case might be. And it's free. Obviously, there is data that might be needed on students' phones or if you have devices, but it is very small. It is not a lot. But these are things that we need to be considerate of when we bring these type of things into our lessons. And just to end off with, I'm going to show you how Kahoot works and how you can use it and how you can actually adapt it for your own lessons. I'm just going to share my screen again. So what we have is we are on Kahoot's landing page. This is kahoot.com. So remember, you play the game on kahoot.it, but you can build and you can use it in kahoot.com. You can sign up using your Google account or Microsoft account or even a Facebook account, or you can sign up using another email. It is a free account. There are paid for options. If you sign up for the first time, you can choose to do the free option. The major differences between the free and the paid version is that if you make your own Kahoots, it gets shared with everybody in the world, where if it's paid for, you can keep it yourself. When I say shared with everybody in the world, what that means is if you create a maths lesson on algebra and another teacher is looking for a Kahoot on the maths lesson on algebra, they can make a copy of your Kahoot and then adapt it for their lessons. Obviously, that works both ways. I mean, teachers are under a lot of pressure and a lot of time. So if you're looking for a lesson on a particular topic or for a particular grade, you can actually find one and adapt it so you don't have to build it from scratch. You can build them from scratch if you wanted to. Another option on the paid version is you have different types of questions. You have true and false. You can have drag and drop, and you can also link it in to create assessments that count for marks if you wanted to. But I find it best as an informal way to spice up your lessons, to give a little bit of fun, and to test concepts where your students are. So if we wanted to create our own Kahoot, we would click on Create. And we give us some different options. Now, some of them are free, some of them are paid for, but anything with a little gold crown is ones that you pay for. But I'm going to click on Create New Kahoot. And it's a really simple drag and drop process. You can search the image library. You can upload your own images. You can determine how long each question is to answer. In hindsight, with the delay, I should have actually increased the seconds to a little bit, maybe 30 seconds as opposed to 20. And then you can actually add in and type in your answers if you wanted to, you know, just randomly putting in cities' names, as it were. But it's quite simple to actually do. Oh, not New York, New York. And then you can add a new question and so on. And it is a really simple drag and drop process to actually do. Or if you wanted to, and you are short of time, you can click on Discover. And now you can actually search by topic and a whole lot of things if you wanted to. So let's say, for example, our math teachers out there, we wanted to look for something on maths. And we search. It'll give us a whole lot of different options, but we can then refine the search to meet our grade or topics if we wanted to. So let's say, for example, for level, we wanted to look for something that is at the grade 9 level, for instance. We can click apply, and it will reload different Kahoots that have been made by other teachers around the world, and we can then explore them, see them, and we can adjust them if we wanted to. We can also then search by different subjects. For example, if we are going for English languages, we can look at spelling, grammar, literature, social studies. You know, obviously it's an American-based thing, so the US history is a topic, but we can look at world history if we wanted to. For the sciences, we can look at biology, earth sciences, which is geography, and so on. But just to give you an idea, let's say, for example, we want to look at maths probability. We see there's 12 questions. We also see that 275 people have actually played this game before. We can click maths probability, and it will then give us a couple of options of how we can use it. We obviously as teachers can then now look into this and see if we like it, and we can use it as is, or if we wanted to, we could actually click edit, and we can then adapt it to sort of fit our needs. Obviously, this program is being used worldwide, and there are millions of teachers who are actually using it. And sometimes if you find something that's almost perfect, but maybe it's a bit of an American thing or an Australian thing or a European aspect, and you need to change it to meet your own school dynamics, you would then click duplicate. You can change it, and then you can adapt the question. You can change a couple of things on it. And then when you're done and you've made some changes, for instance, I'm not going to go too deep into it because we've got some time, and it's best that you play around with it. We can click done. And now the Kahoot exists as something that you've created, and you now have it'll be put into a folder that exists online within Kahoot. So these are the Kahoots, another tab, which is My Kahoots, and I can see all the different options I actually have. I see I have a couple of icebreaker ones. There's also music, which is also a lot of fun to start with, flags of the world. I've had some history ones that we've actually used because I'm a main history teacher, but it's been a lot of fun, and it really adds an awesome dynamic to making your lessons fun, interactive, and having the variety to not only make you enjoy your lessons, so you're super excited, but also your students get excited and they get to learn in different ways. With that, that's pretty much my introduction to Kahoot. I hope you enjoyed it and you had a lot of fun. You got to experience it. Apologies if you guys didn't have your own phone, but you watched how it works. I highly recommend you explore it. You give it a go. Maybe play it amongst members in your staff if you need to, and give it a whiz. That's me. Peter, I don't know if there's any questions or anything you might ask.
I think that's absolutely fantastic. Just if the learners don't have devices, there's no way. You need the learner to be either have a device or a phone or something. Am I correct? There's no way around that for a teacher to run something up in front?
No, but there is a sort of solution to that. I didn't get a chance to show it, but when you create a new Kahoot, you can have it 1:1, or you can have teams. So if you have limited devices in your class, you can group them together. I would recommend increasing the time. So then as a group, they could have that discussion, maybe point a leader in the group, and then that person selects on behalf of the team. So if you will always need a device, but they do have options if you have limited devices that you can create teams. So guys sit together around one device and then they discuss what the option is. They see the other group, oh, they've got an answer already, so it adds a bit of competitiveness. But unfortunately, you can't get away not having a device, but you can use less devices. So when you present the Kahoot, it gives you that option to choose classic 1:1 or teams.
Fantastic. I just thinking for the schools that might not have, if you've got a class of 13, you can just have 3 or 4 devices and have teamwork going. I think you can achieve the same thing. So that's a great
Correct,
workaround.
yes.
And then, Rob, last question, if you can, offhand, what has been your favorite Kahoot quiz you've ever done? Has there been one that really just like stands out to you that you just think was like super cool?
Believe it or not, it was actually with a group of university students. I got invited to actually do a presentation for final year teachers who are teaching history. And I gave a general knowledge quiz to sort of introduce them to this concept of adding a dynamic to the history lessons. There was 300 people in the room, so you can imagine it was a buzz. And there were a lot of people who had a lot of confidence being final year history teachers and going, oh no, I got that wrong. So that was my most favorite Kahoot. But I'll tell you this, every single one is fun. It doesn't matter whether it's university or whatever. That one obviously stands out. But every time I say, okay, guys, we're going to I say guys as a teacher at a boys' school, that we're going to do Kahoot, or the excitement level, and they say, sir, game on, we're ready for this. We're ready to have a go. So
that's brilliant. I think that's one of the stand-up things is if you, and it's come up in multiple presentations, if you can get the learners engaged and just pulled in, it's game changing because it just gets them excited and passionate and it just opens them up to learning. So Rob, thank you. We kind of ending today's session with one last question, and this one will put you on your toes. One word or one sentence. I think there are a lot of teachers out there that are very tired at the moment, especially those that will be with government schools. And to tie in with Lou's presentation earlier, do you have one encouragement for everyone listening, into that last end of the year stretch? Anything you would say just to encourage the teachers out there?
I would say that just remember, education's a journey. It's not a destination. Don't get het up if you don't necessarily reach something. Remember that it is a journey and there's going to constantly be something. If you get het up about, I'm not getting to a certain point, you will never get there because education always changes and it always evolves. Just enjoy the ride, enjoy the scenery, try your best, and don't sweat the small stuff.
I think that is absolutely brilliant. I'd also say technology is a journey. Don't feel stressed.
Correct.
You get it perfectly right. First time there are mistakes and you need to go. Well done, Rob. That was a hard question to throw at you and you answered it superbly, and that is a great encouragement. We really appreciate you coming on live with us. Thank you so much. And we are also glad you are better. So Rob, that was a great presentation.
Thank you very much.
Practical and easy to understand and engaging. And I was Pete and I nearly won. Mr. T took me out. So Tom,
almost there.
I was there until the last 2 questions. So Rob, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you.
All
and
right.
Cheers, everyone.
Brilliant. So ladies and gentlemen, we are now going into our last bit, and that is the Lion's Den pitch. So it's based on the idea of a Dragon's Den pitch. We have 3 companies that are going to be vying for your attention. Each of them has 7 minutes. Each of them has a product or solution that could be really relevant for you as a school. So we're going to ask them to come on, and we are also going to give away a prize. We're going to be giving away an LED lamp for our favorite comment for the day. So if you are in the topics of our community tab, please drop a comment or 2 on experiences, shared learnings to help others. But that is now enough about me. It's now time to get onto that first Lion's Den pitch. So with me is Alex from Reflective Learning. Alex, you have 7 minutes to share what you have and how you can help the teachers. Over to you.
Awesome, thank you so much. So hi everyone, my name is Alex. I head up the operations at Reflective Learning. I'm going to give you a quick little walk through our maths education program, which is quite unlike any other. I used to teach grade 8 to 12 maths and English, and I would sometimes find myself in the classroom teaching a lesson at grade level, you know, as per the curriculum. But I could clearly see that although some learners understood me immediately, others were looking at me with a blank stare, and the rest were kind of somewhere in between. And trying to successfully teach a class full of that much variation was an almost impossible task. As teachers, we're so often confronted with that stark reality that the kids sitting in our classroom are not at the level that they need to be. But we're still pressurized to teach the curriculum, obviously. And it's only through incredibly time-consuming efforts like sitting with them one-on-one after school that we're really able to dig down and find out wherever their specific gaps are. And even then, as a high school teacher, I found it really challenging to figure out how to teach those more basic concepts and finding sort of appropriate resources for them. And I found it incredibly heartbreaking when you realize that students are struggling with something like factorization, not because they aren't capable of understanding, but simply because they're missing something more foundational like multiplication. So I'm actually going to share my screen now and just give you a little walk through. So although it would be lovely if the children sitting in our classroom were at the level that they needed to be, so when they're in grade 8, they're at a grade 8 level, or in grade 9 at a grade 9 level, it's really not where they are. And this situation has been documented quite heavily in some academic research papers around the world, and more recently by Cape Town-based expert Tracy Bachart. And what she has seen and what other researchers have seen is that more than 60% of South African learners are on average 4 or more years behind in their maths competency based on what we expect them to know and what they really know. And we refer to the separation between what they should know and what they actually know as the learning gaps. And this is a reality in almost every classroom that we see, with sometimes these learning gaps going as far back to grade 1 level knowledge. I also must pause here for a moment and just be clear, there is no one cause of these gaps emerging. They are influenced by factors such as the curriculum structure, emotional distraction possibly of the learners, nutrition even, or simply due to a learner going to the bathroom at an inopportune time, all causing a child to miss one of those foundational building blocks of maths. Many people obviously have also been super worried about the pandemic and school closures and about that causing learners to fall behind. And in reality, yes, the school closures will have serious impact, but they're only adding to an existing problem of these learning gaps. Learning gaps are an issue that have always existed and will continue to emerge over time. The key, though, is to find them and fix them as quickly as we can. So after many, many years of field research and working with thousands of learners and their teachers, producing manual interventions, and then subsequently developing a larger scale platform, Reflective Learning has managed to find a solution. And we offer a program that helps to identify conceptual maths learning gaps, catching up students efficiently by only teaching them what they need to know, all the while providing access to that information so that teachers and school admins can see that progress of their school community catching up those various gaps. So just very simply, the process that a learner follows on the app starts with that assessment where we look at their current level of understanding and diagnose any gaps that they may have across 81 basic maths concepts. And we use that as a baseline. We then provide that feedback back to them. So we share their results and details with them. And this allows them to take ownership of their learning, which is a really vital component. Third, learners work through the catch-up section of the app where they're only taught the concepts that they need to master based on their assessment. And we teach it at the level where we see that their understanding began to break down. And then lastly, they complete a reassessment where we test only, again, the concepts that they battled with in their first assessment. And we see what possible improvement and change has happened over time. And they continue this process until they're able to master or become proficient in those various concepts or topics of maths. So this program is most suited for grades 6 to 10 to prepare them for the FET phase, ensuring that they're caught up properly in order to successfully tackle those more abstract concepts later on in their school career. And then from a school perspective, so our relationship with the school, when engaging with the school, we follow a process of first demonstrating the product to the team so that everyone is on board and understands. We then set up some trial accounts for teachers to work through the product themselves so they can become comfortable and confident with it. We offer teacher training for all teachers and facilitators to ensure that all your questions are answered so that you don't feel, I know that sometimes when tech gets introduced, it feels a little bit daunting. And so we like to take away any of that stress that may exist. And then we set up all of the accounts, so the admin and the learner accounts, because that's just extra admin that no school should have to deal with. And so we set all of that up on our side and then pass those login details over to you. And then lastly, obviously, we offer ongoing support. Teachers and admins are able to contact us at any point if there are any issues. They're also able to access the dashboard that you see there to track the progress over time of the learners. We have really seen incredible results, and I wish that I could share them all with you, but I'm just going to focus on this one class. So this is a single class who went through the full process. Their initial results are shown by the yellow bars. And you can see some of those are not nearly where they need to be for a grade 10 class. But in a single year, they were able to improve between 3 and 6 grades each, which you can see by the yellow bars. So I think my time has run out. All I want to say lastly
20 seconds.
3 seconds. Okay, we've done over 100,000 assessments and seen incredible results. And so if you hop over to our exhibitor booth, there's a little giveaway there. You can win some learner licenses for your school and a really awesome food hamper for the teacher who wins. And my email address is there. So obviously you can contact me with any questions and we can set up a demo for you and your school.
Brilliant. And for anyone who's on YouTube that might be streaming there, we will post contact details in the YouTube channel. So yeah, please do that. And yeah, always a good thing when there's a hamper up for grabs. So thank you, Alex. That was fantastic. And yeah, incredible what your company has achieved. That is absolutely amazing. So thank you. Next up in our Lions Den pitch, we've got Paul, who is already up on stage. That is absolutely fantastic. So Paul presented in our session this morning, and Parrot's got some incredible stuff that they are doing. So Paul, 7 minutes, over to you.
I've done a lot more with less time, Peter. So thank you so much for 7 minutes. It's quite exciting to be here with the educators. It's an intriguing time, and there's a lot of flex and volatility in this specific space. So as one of the more prominent distributors and brands, especially through a reseller chain to educator network, we really try and keep our eyes open for opportunities where we can assist and provide possible solutions. So today in this Lions Den, I think we're not here to really pitch a singular product due to the diverse range of our product. We really want to highlight that we acknowledge the concerns that's going out there, and that that we've got the gear and the services to actually come and identify possible solutions to the requirements and needs that's currently out there. The reality is that digital has finally properly arrived. It's always been there in some form or another, but I think COVID has really turned something that used to be a luxury into something that is really required now. We cannot educate without going into a digital format, and it really changed the game. I think a lot of the other presenters throughout this whole event has showcased the very dynamic digital content and very often software orientated type of solutions. We are a hardware vendor that focuses on leveraging all of these software solutions and elevating it to a different level. So I think when we actually get to this specific space, here we go. we're sitting with a lot of educators that's really phoning in and dealing with us and saying, you know what, I'm worried, I'm confused. I've got two primary questions that's really going on. You know, am I going to teach at school? Am I going to teach at home? Who am I teaching? Am I teaching pupils in a specific classroom? Am I teaching pupils that's sitting at home or in some remote locations? COVID has definitely had quite a big impact in that, and our teachers wasn't really prepared for this, and they've had to acclimatize to this sort of environment quite quickly, and I think to a certain degree got overwhelmed with all the technology that is actually already available, all the solutions that does help them actually get used to. It's quite a steep learning curve. And what we found is that there's not a singular answer to a specific question. There's quite a dynamic solution that is required for each individual teacher in every school environment. And that is where Parrot really starts shining, is that we really focus on a wide range of products that goes towards moving your content to a digital format. From there, you can use apps, you can use all of the other software solutions to teach remoting, doing video conferencing, all of that. The first step is actually take what you already have and ensure it's in some sort of digital format that you can interact with, collaborate on it, and share across a variety of different platforms. One of those specific devices is the visualizer or document camera, depending on how you like to refer to it. We've got two unique models that is very beneficial to any sort of ecosystem, whether it's in the classroom or at home, to really take the physical and move it into a digital format, whether it's for images, whether it's for live streaming. It allows you to annotate and type over it to really enrich the content, so that you can easily share that and contribute that over a variety of different media, whether it's one of these beautiful LMS type of profile that you're using, whether it's Google Hangouts, Teams for Microsoft, a variety of places. This is a fantastic type of product to really take it to that digital element to it. The next is actually taken more into your classroom, to really allow a teacher to catch up on all the work that was lost, to really engage with all of the pupils that is during lockdown really got used to multimedia. That's what they crave for, that is what they align for, and if you are not presenting teaching in that form, you are not just staggering and losing out, but you're missing out on an opportunity to really teach at the level they require. And we've done essentially something quite unique. We've taken our entire range, which we could easily spec about 70 to 100 different solutions, and pre-spec 3 unique or pre-spec solutions for classroom with a variety of functionality and budget requirements that can really elevate that teacher to allow her to interact with a variety of content and software that she's already familiar with through plug and play type of hardware like we've got, and then obviously move it onto other platforms. So a big core component of that is our interactive whiteboards, touch LEDs, the visualizers, web cameras that we do, microphones that we do, audio components that we do. And just having that wide range of hardware is not good enough. We're very fortunate that even during these times, we have branches in every province to service and support teachers in schools everywhere. And I would definitely recommend go and either through YouTube or through HOA, go and actually get our contact details, make contact with us. We do free site inspections. We can do free consultation sessions via Zoom, Skype, or Teams to really understand your requirements a bit better and provide a unique fit-for-purpose type of hardware solution that is the first step to going into a digital format. We have fantastic initiatives where we've got dedicated trainers that used to be ex-teachers as well, that actually follows up any purchases with free training and consultation. We provide free lifetime remote support. So anybody, doesn't matter where you purchase any of our products, can contact our call center and ask for support, and we'll gladly assist with that. So one of our core mandates is to really service and support through a variety of different vendors. So as a teacher in school, you've got an option with who you even want to deal with to actually work alongside with us. But you've got the security in knowing that Parrot products as a brand will actually be on site and will be at your disposal to support and look after you. We feel we're quite unique in that aspect, and we love taking part in learning with the teachers. That's the only way forward. That's how we normally identify our solutions is working hand in hand with the teachers. We also have a nice prize giveaway that's happening on the exhibitor booth. So please go and drop your details there. That will help us to keep in contact with you as well. We've got a dedicated YouTube channel. Please go to YouTube, subscribe, and tick the little bell there to be aware of any of our launches. It is not just geared to technology, but that is one of the fastest growing sectors for us. And there's some very nice niche products there that you can get very nice demonstrations on as well. Of course, we are presented on LinkedIn as well as Facebook with dedicated pages there. So if you want to stay on top of what we do as a brand, please go like and love us there, like we do for you. Peter, I think, I don't know, I did a little bit better than the previous session. I don't know if there's any additional questions that might be posted or asked.
So there we go. I am on. That was fantastic. Please remind me, what is that prize you've got up for grabs on your exhibitor profile?
So they can actually enter in to win one of 5 Bluetooth mobile speakers. It's not just your standard Bluetooth speaker. It doubles up as a power bank, so it's strong enough to last you the whole day and charge your phone if you need to. And it's semi-ruggedized, so if you drop it here and there, it's a perfect device to be on the go. Also a very nice little thing for a classroom if you want to go inside and outside.
That is good to hear. Paul, we've actually got a minute or two. I see Brandon is battling to get on, so I've got some more time for you. At the moment, when it comes to technology within the classroom, if a teacher has nothing at the moment, what would be the one thing you would advise they take and why? If a teacher was pushing to get something new in their classroom, what do you think is the most kind of effective thing to help them as a teacher?
I would probably focus primarily on the document cameras or visualizers, which would probably be the best suited for this sort of question. Purely because our specific visualizer allows you to leverage your existing laptop if you've got that, and you can then make use of your old scribbles on piece of paper or your science experiments that you already have in a class and convert that into a digital format that you can share either through a dedicated VC session right there and then, or after the fact, when you've got a connection, you can obviously load it onto one of the sharing platforms with your pupils. Added value to that is some teachers might not actually have those dedicated laptops in their classrooms. And for that, again, the visualizer might be good if they're willing to invest in some sort of infrastructure with regards to just a projector, because one of our visualizers can connect directly with a projector, and again, in the physical premise of a classroom, can actually scale it up and provide you with the functionality to annotate over it, and it's compatible with our smartboard. So you can see we have all these components that you can keep building on.
Brilliant. So I see Brandon is in the wings waiting, but that was absolutely fantastic. Paul, thank you. Once again, to everyone out there, Parrot products, obviously a highly reputable brand that you connect with. Paul, thank you. We appreciate you coming on. We also appreciate those prizes. We are now into our final lines then pitch. And Brandon is from Teacher Tech, and he has a very, very cool piece of tech he is going to showcase to you. Brandon, just confirming you are there if you want to jump on.
Yes, hi there, Peter. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Wonderful. Brilliant. All right. Due to some technical issues, I'm not going to have my video up, but to be honest with you, with the way this whole lockdown phase has gone, I think it's probably a better thing at this stage of my life. All right, good. Listen, hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Brandon. As introduced, I come from a company called Teacher Tech. And what we're going to do is just show you today just hopefully a nice piece of exciting piece of equipment that you can just help to make your lives a bit easier. What it is over here, basically it is like a 3-in-1 scanning device. Okay, so I say a 3-in-1 because not only is it's a multi-purpose scanner, it also comes with OCR software, which in layman's terms it is optical character recognition software. So what that means is then you can actually scan pieces of paper that you've got, and you can put it into Word or Excel, and you can digitize that. It also then on the top of that, it also is a visualizer as well. So as you can see over here, it just stands out on your desk like that. And then when you fold it up, it folds it up neatly into a piece of kit like that. And then you can just simply put it into your backpack or your briefcase or everything like that as well. Underneath, when you look at it, it's got 6 LED lights over here. as well as got a 10 megapixel camera. The advantage of the product is that it actually doesn't need an external power source, okay? All you do is you plug it in via the USB into your computer or your laptop. It gets the power from there, and then of course it's the LED lighting, everything works. So what's really nice is that it's extremely portable. And of course, in the event of load shedding, if you're working on something, you can actually still continue to work on it, even if the lights do go out. Right, now let's get on to the actual sharing of the next part over here. Right, there we go, new share, and where are we? There we go. Brilliant. Right, now let's say, for example, you wanted to scan a document of some sort. All right, so because I know I work a lot with teachers, a lot of my friends are teachers, and it always astounds me the amount of paperwork that you guys have got. And I know some of you are going to smile and chuckle when I say this, because I know a lot of you are still doing it. But when it comes to setting up question papers and things like that, we find that so many people are still sitting, with scissors and Prit, and are literally cutting and pasting and then photostacking documents to actually produce these things. So let me show you a quick and easy way to do it. Right. Now, as you can see, at the moment over here, we're in scan mode. Okay. So if you look up over on the top over here, we've got we're on a single page scanner. We can even go to multi-page scanning mode as well. All right. So let me just go on a single page scan. And then on the top over here, you can see we can select whether we want it in PDF format, Word, or whatever we want. So let's just say at the moment we want it in PDF, and then I just click the button over there, and it will automatically now put that into a PDF format, and then the file sits over there. So when I double click, this file is now sitting in PDF in lovely black and white as you want it. Right. Now, let's say, for example, though, we want to do a multi-page document, okay? And over here, we can also crop it as well. So we can crop the page and we can select the part of the document that we want to use. So let's say over here, I'm just going to bring in my borders. Let's just say I just want that over there. Then all we do is we just crop the page and I say, yes, please scan that document. All I do now is I simply remove this page over here. I've now got my next page over there. And as you can see, you can bring it back into your borders. Let's just do that, or you can expand your border that you've created. And there we go. And we say scan over there. Once that is done, and sorry, I don't mean to just be using maths papers, but I know maths papers are the most complicated. So that's why I'm just demonstrating over here. As you can see, it works with Word, and we scan that over there as well. All right. Now, the advantage of this is you'll see your scans are actually now still sitting on the left. They're not actually sitting in any form of document or anything like that. You can select what you want to use. So let's just say you want to deselect that one. And for example, you want that one before the other one. You want to change the order of things. You just now simply click export. And then all it does now is that exports the document for you. And voila, it is now sitting over there in your PDF on the bottom over there. But now, let's say, for example, you wanted to put that into a Word format. All right. So all we do is we go up over here. We simply just change that now into a Word format. We keep those boxes selected over there. Let's say, for example, you want to do that one as well now. And then all we do is we click export, and it now simply exports that, all 3 pages that you've selected, into a Word format. So there it is sitting down there. We double click on the page. My computer slowed up a little through COVID. And so now all we do is we just wait for my Word document to actually open. There we go. And when we get there, you'll see it is actually there. I like to build anticipation. Right, there we are. And it is now sitting in Word. And you can see that is now an editable page. And there we go. All 3 pages are now sitting over here in your Word format. It also works on Excel documents as well. So if you've got, class lists, mark sheets, whatever you've got, you can simply scan that and put it into Excel. And let me show you very quickly another nifty little function. Let's say, for example, you wanted to use something off of a page. All right, so we just remove that document over there. We put in this one over here. All right, there we go. Let's get those out of the way. All we do now is you just simply crop the page. Let's just say, for example, I wanted that over there. You just simply crop the page to select what you want. If you wanted to zoom in, you could zoom in just so you see that you've got exactly what you want. And you want it in Word, scan, and in it goes. There we go. That is now sitting in Word. If you wanted that same format in Excel, click, and it goes into Excel, and there we go. It is now, that formula is now sitting in the Excel document as well. So very quick and easy. Right, and there we go. Perfect, great, and it's in. Done and fully editable. Now, very quickly, let me run through some of the other functions as time is certainly ticking. You can also email. So let's say, for example, you want to email a document. So all we do is we simply scan it. Once again, it is sitting on the left over there. But now let's say, for example, this was a confidential document. Then what we can do, if you want to, click over here. We can add a watermark onto that. We say, right, that is confidential, apply, okay, and send. Of course, if you wanted to do multiple pages, it will do multiple pages for you. What it will do now, it'll automatically attach that onto your email format for you, and then off you go, and then you just send the document, and it'll also have the confidential watermark displayed across over there as well. Now, saving the best for last, it has also got a video function as well. So this doubles up as a visualizer. So now what we can do is, because with a visualizer, we can increase the scope, so it will get to an A3 size. And then all we need to do is get rid of that, and we just hit the record button. What's great is now you can work over here, all right? And you can work, and you can write, and you can do whatever you want to do. This now records it. And as you'll see, you've got your various formats. It records it into an MP format. Once you've got it, you press stop, and then your video will automatically be stored down over there at the bottom. All right. As I say, you can choose various formats. I know other people like to work with other one. MP4 seems to be the most popular, so we do that. If you wanted to zoom in as well, to zoom in and work on a particular aspect of your task, and there we go.
Brandon,
right,
just so you know, your time is done.
Time is up. There we go. Check it out. Hey? All right, excellent.
Biggest question, how do schools get in contact with you?
Brilliant. Well, just go onto, oh, look at this. I can take a photograph of my business card as well. All right, there it is over there. And or you can go onto my booth, which is on the Wilbur platform over there, and you can do that. And then we will just email me, phone me, whatever you want to do. All right.
Cool. Check out teachertech.co.za. We'll post that link if you're on YouTube. If you are on the Hoover conference platform, pop across to Brandon's exhibitor booth. Brilliant. That is one very, very cool piece of tech. Thank you so much. We appreciate you showing and sharing that.
Brilliant.
And thank you. And we are going to go back to, one sec. All right. So thank you, Brandon. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to a close. But there's some good news. You can earn, and I need to double confirm this, I think it's 20 points. Yes, you can earn 20 CPTD. Always get it the wrong way around. Points, so continuous your SACE points. And if you, just by attending today's session, so if you are unsure how to get those points, on the exhibitor profile, check out Get SACE Points. They have a video that will show you how to do it. If you come in live from YouTube, Google Get SACE Points, or it's getsacepoints.co.za, and they will be able to share and help you in how you actually can get those 20 points for attending.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you for joining us throughout our Schoolscape IT online event. We hope you've enjoyed it. We hope that you've met valuable companies. This page will stay live. So if there's a company you've seen and you think of it on a later stage, you can still log into Hoover, find it on the expo booth and contact them. But yeah, I want to encourage you, if there's any questions around anything, otherwise give Pete and I at School Advisor a shout. We're always willing to help you find great, credible companies to procure from. But otherwise, we look forward to hopefully seeing you in person in 2021 at our events. And yeah, good luck for the rest of the year, teachers. We know that you're doing a great job with our children, and from us at School Advisor and Schoolscape events, we really appreciate all your hard work that you've put in this year.
And we've got our last giveaway. That's only going to actually happen tomorrow. It's going to happen offline. So if you want to get in for the case of wine, just visit 5 exhibitors on the conference platform. All you need to do is visit them, like their page, write a comment, or say that's great, or ask them a question, and enter their deals and offers. And if you visit 5, you go into the passport contest, and you can win that case of wine or the take a lot voucher if you prefer the cash prize if you don't drink. And thank you. We appreciate your time. Have a great afternoon. And that is us done.
Done. Bye.
Bye, everybody.